Aloha, today we're going to do a tour on the gated communities of Honolulu. And we're starting our tour at the Woodlands in Nuuanu, which is directly behind me. This is a 19-unit CPR project that was done by Vernon Wu at the very end of Waialae Street here in what most people refer to as Nuuanu. However, technically this is going to fall under Old Poly and MLS. If you listen, you could hear some of the cars that are directly behind me. And so Old Poly is a neighborhood that actually stretches across to the other side of the Poly Highway here. I know this firsthand because I sold a big mansion on the Marks Estate on the other side of the highway, and at one point in time 17 acres of that property stretched across the highway in this direction. So here we are at the Woodlands in Nuuanu. Once again, 19 units that were started to be built around 1995 onward. And then, yeah, and they're beautiful homes, by the way. And now we're going to continue our tour all the way to the east. We're going to wrap up this afternoon in Hawaii Kai, but next stop is going to be Manoa Hillside Estates. Okay, next up we have Manoa Hillside Estates, which is at the very end of Kaalawai Street in Manoa. This is going to be 62 CPR style homes that were originally built in 1991 all the way through, I think the last one was completed in the year 2017. So once again, this is Manoa Hillside Estates. You can hear a stream out the back. Let me flip the camera around here. You have this stream here behind you. And then most of the homes will kind of hook around up towards the back right. All right, now that's a wrap on Manoa Hillside Estates. And we're going to continue our tour to the east to hit a few more gated communities on Wilhelmina. And check out the views of Manoa Valley out the back. Okay, here we are at Royal Maunalani up on Wilhelmina Rise, which is on the borderline of Wilhelmina, which is this neighborhood down below me, and Maunalani Heights, which is the neighborhood up top. So Royal Maunalani is an enclave of 11 homes that was built around 1992 behind this gate here on Maunalani Kai Place. So you can't search for these specifically in MLS because they fall within the entire neighborhood of Wilhelmina. But if you're looking for a home here, I can help you out. And in the meantime, we're gonna jump down the ridge here to Nohona, Kahala. But before we do that, take a look at these views behind me, because this will give you an idea of why people would want to live up here on Wilhelmina Rise. Next up, we have Nohona, Kahala, which is technically in Wilhelmina as far as MLS goes, but it's directly inland from Kahala and Kahala Mall and Zippies. And within Nohona, Kahala, there's roughly 50 homes that were built around 1991. Okay, now we're at Kahala Pacifica, which is roughly 24 CPR homes through this gate here. This is in Waialae Iki, directly inland from Kahala and Kahala Mall. And these were built roughly around 1989. And then, like I said, today we're only covering the detached single family homes. So there's roughly about 10 that are detached here, and those are going to be on the upper or Malka side. And then you have attached kind of duplex style ones on the other side of the driveway here. And then there is a common area swimming pool. So speaking of water, let's head down towards the beach and check out some of the gated communities near Diamond Head. Okay, now we're going to do the first of the gated communities at Diamond Head. Behind me I have Ainamalu. This is a cluster of roughly 11 homes that were developed by Duncan McNaughton on the former Brown Estate. And these stretch all the way down to the water, and they're built in the late 70s to early 80s. And there's actually, believe it or not, a Osipov home or two in here, who's a famous mid-century modern architect. So with that said, this is Ainamalu. It's a gated community here at Diamond Head. This is going to be the first of 3 gated communities we're going to cover at Diamond Head, in addition to Black Point. So there is one more gated community around the corner at La Pietra on the other side of Diamond Head. However, those are attached townhomes, whereas what we're covering today, like I mentioned earlier, is just the single family home products. And there's also a killer beach on the other side of this. And as I mentioned earlier, this was done in the former Brown Estate. And if any of you out there have a lot of money and want to make your own gated community or family compound, what I have behind me is the Hayashi Estate here on the ocean at Diamond Head. That's currently listed for $50 million. And if someone did want to buy this, it's available, like I said, for $50 million. They can make their own little gated community based upon the zoning. You can put multiple homes here. There is one big residence currently. So let's head on and check out a few more. Okay, next up we have the Isles at Diamond Head Beach. This is a 6-unit CPR complex. We're access on both Kaalawai for 3 of the homes, and then the other 3 are accessed through Kaimanawa Place around the corner. What's great about these is there's ocean access like Ainamalu, and a lot of them, they have their own swimming pools, and then they're built right around 1986. So stay tuned for our next gated community here on Oahu. Okay, next up we have Sansa Kaalawai. This is by far the smallest of the gated communities we're covering in Diamond Head and Honolulu. This is a 4-unit complex. They do have their own TMK, so it's not a CPR project. And then they all have their individual pools. And these were developed and built in the late 80s, around 1988. Past client's father built a lot of these homes here, most of these homes. And there's 4 of them, like I said, and they all have their individual swimming pool as well as deeded beach access, which is incredible. So let's go check out the beach. Okay, here we are now at the Sansa Kaalawai entrance, and then directly behind me out the back is gonna be the beach access from Ainamalu, and it's indicative from the red tile roofs, which you could see when you're out in the lineup here surfing in Diamond Head. And then behind me in this direction, we're gonna have the Isles at Diamond Head beach access, which is an iconic location because you do have a Doris Duke estate towards Black Point out the back. So now from here, we're gonna head over to Black Point. Okay, next we have Black Point, which is arguably Honolulu's oldest gated community. Homes here date back to the 1920s, but don't let that fool you because there's some incredible homes that have been remodeled over the years. Like this one behind me is gonna be going up soon, newer construction. And then what's cool is there's a saltwater pool on the point, which is kind of similar to what you see like in parts of Australia. Stay tuned, and then we're gonna head up to Waialae Iki V, which is in that ridge straight back that way. All right, now Waialae Iki V is the next gated community that we're covering. This is at the very top of Waialae Iki Ridge. It was a 5th phase in development. It's a gated community up here. Behind me, they have tennis courts are one of the amenities for owners. And originally, Tom Gentry was one of the developers up here, but later on they had individual lots that they're selling off. And there's a really cool hike that's here up the back. So stay tuned, and the next gated community we're gonna cover is gonna be Kahala Kua out to the east. Well, I almost took off without showcasing the views. What's really cool about being up on Waialae Iki V is the elevation. So once you're up here, you're pretty high up there, so you can make out Diamond Head in the backdrop. You're significantly higher than Diamond Head, and a lot of these homes will get really nice views towards Diamond Head and Waikiki out the back. Okay, next up we have Kahala Kua, which is just to the east of Waialae Iki V that we came from. And behind me of the gate at Kahala Kua, this was a development that was done where the first homes were kind of built in the mid-90s. When I was in high school up through the early 90s, there were no homes beyond this road here. A friend of mine from high school lived in a house right back here. And so there's 120 homes in Kahala Kua, which was developed by Bill Mills. There was a gentleman by the name of John Lowe that tried to develop it prior. But Bill Mills built most of the homes up here. Can't quite see it from this angle, but there's still a home under construction. So not all the homes have been completely built out. So that's Kahala Kua for you. And then we're gonna probably head out to the next or largest gated community here in East Honolulu, which is gonna be Hawaii Loa Ridge. Okay, similar to Kahala Kua, Hawaii Loa Ridge has its own designated neighborhood in MLS. And so this gated community has 557 homes. And it's the only gated community in Honolulu that has a gated community within a gated community called The Point. So Hawaii Loa Ridge sits above Kauai Beach Park, like I mentioned, here off Kalaniʻi Highway. A little bit winded, did a little hike. And then we got Diamond Head out the back, and the views up here are incredible. 557 homes, most of which were built during the original construction started in the late 1980s and has evolved. There's still vacant lots up here. If you're looking for a vacant lot or a home on Hawaii Loa Ridge, you've come to the right spot. Now let's continue our tour to head out to Hawaii Kai. Okay, next we have the Peninsula here in Hawaii Kai, which is built in the early 2000s. It's across the street from Kaiser High School and the Hawaii Kai Fire Station. And I used to be a firefighter here in Hawaii Kai and watched this entire place go up. So this was developed by Stanford Carr, like I mentioned, and there's several levels of product here, but today's video we're talking about the single family home product. And here within the Hawaii Peninsula here at Hawaii Kai, it's called the executive residences, and those are going to be the detached homes that are along the water. Back in the day when they're first selling these, they were only going for like 700 grand. There's several other levels of product within the peninsula here at Hawaii Kai. You have the cottages, which are attached townhomes, and the villas, and then you have these high rises behind me, which are going to be its own separate HOA, and those are called the Colony at the Peninsula. But once again, we'll continue our tour because this tour is primarily about gated communities for single family residences, and we're gonna head over to the other side there of Cocoa Crater and check out Queens Gate. Okay, now we're on the other side of Cocoa Crater, and we're gonna come up to our final gated community in Honolulu, which is gonna be Queens Gate. And Queens Gate is kind of in Kalama Valley, and this is one of two gates behind me here. And within Queens Gate, most of the homes were built in the late 70s, and they have tennis courts as well, in addition to a recreation center. So stay tuned, and we're going to continue on. Okay, now directly behind me is the second gate for Queens Gate, and what I failed to mention earlier is a lot of the homes in Queens Gate front the golf course here in Hawaii Kai. And what's also really cool about this location is right around the corner here, you're gonna have Sandy Beach. Well, I hope you enjoyed my segment today on gated communities in Honolulu. And I'm gonna put links in the comments below for details on all the specific neighborhoods and gated communities here. And if you have any questions about gated communities here in Honolulu, I can be reached at 808-371-3509. Mahalo.